The Galactic Council's chamber stretched across kilometers, a vast expanse of shimmering panels, glowing orbs, and floating seats. Every major civilization in known space had a representative here. Their forms were as varied as stars themselves, beings of light, of metal, of water, of gas, and some so alien that the human mind strained to comprehend them. Yet among them all, humans were barely noticed, small, frail, and ordinary-looking compared to the grand presence of the others. Jard Mason, humanity's lead representative, sat in the middle of the human delegation. He did not fidget or gesture, he simply observed. Around him, the room buzzed with a low, constant hum, the sound of thousands of alien minds in deliberation. Humans had been lobbying for formal recognition for decades, and now, finally, the moment had arrived. "The vote is nearly unanimous," said Lithar, a crystalline entity from the planet Virus, its voice a melodic chime that echoed unnaturally. "Yet, we remain divided on whether humanity should be given full membership or merely probationary oversight." Across the chamber, representatives whispered and gestured. Some were clearly against humans. "They are unpredictable," said Jikal, a being of shifting shadows. "Emotion guides their decisions. Logic will not restrain them. We risk chaos." "Perhaps," said Ylira, a serpent-like creature with glowing scales, "but consider their achievements. Humanity's ships cross star systems with speed and precision unmatched by many established civilizations. Their technology is peculiar, yes, but effective." Jard did not smile. He did not react. He listened, as humanity had trained to do for this very moment. For decades, humans had been underestimated. They had been laughed at, dismissed as primitive, or treated as naive children playing with dangerous toys. But humanity had patience, and humans had memory. The vote commenced. Each representative transmitted their decision via thought link, a pulse of color or sound that projected instantly across the chamber. One by one, the votes came in. The majority were against humans. Jard did not flinch. The human delegation remained silent. They had expected this. When the votes were counted, the verdict was announced. Humanity would be admitted to the Galactic Council, but only under probation. Every human action would be monitored. Every decision could be overridden by the Council. Humanity's freedom would be limited. Applause echoed from some corners of the chamber, laughter and nods from the aliens who had doubted humanity. But Jard's face remained calm, serene. Humanity had not failed. They had anticipated this exact outcome. After the session, the human delegation quietly left the chamber. They did not shout, argue, or protest. The council members watched them go, some shaking their heads, others smirking. Outside the chamber, on the observation deck of the massive council station, Jard finally spoke. "They think they have won," he said softly. "They think this probation limits us, but limits are only real if we accept them." His second-in-command, Marissa Lane, nodded. "They see humans as reckless, emotional, small. They do not know what patience is. They do not understand strategy." Jard looked out at the stars. "We will prove it, not with noise, not with anger, but with quiet action. We will act in ways they cannot predict. And they will have no choice but to respect us." For days after the vote, humans quietly reviewed their plans. They examined the council's bureaucracy, its rules, its protocols. Every minor task given to humans, every assignment, every seemingly menial job was studied. Humans learned faster, adapted faster, and planned silently. Meanwhile, council members watched humanity with curiosity. They expected outbursts, emotional missteps, or errors. They expected humans to stumble. They were wrong. The first test came quickly. Humanity was assigned to manage a supply convoy passing through a notoriously unstable star cluster. Many alien races had failed missions there. Their ships had been torn apart by radiation storms or destroyed by navigational anomalies. Humans, who were often derided as reckless, were the new assignment. Jard and his team examined star charts, ship designs, and historical mission reports. They did not rely on alien technology. They analyzed, calculated, and created strategies that were efficient, simple, and effective. The day of the mission arrived. Human ships entered the star cluster. Other representatives watched nervously. Reports began to arrive. No ships lost, no cargo damaged, navigation perfect. Humans had done the impossible. The council murmured among themselves. Jikal, the shadow being, appeared tense. How did they manage this?" it asked, almost fearful. "No previous mission has succeeded in this cluster." Jard's voice reached them through the council communication system, calm and measured. We observed, we planned, and we adapted. Your past failures were never our concern. We work with facts, with reality. Emotion and bias are irrelevant in calculations. We do not boast, we act. No one applauded, no one cheered, but a few eyes widened. A few whispers started to circulate. Perhaps humans were not what they seemed. Back on the human ship, Marissa smiled. They're noticing. Jard nodded. But they still don't understand. They will never understand unless we teach them slowly, and teaching is what we do best. As humans completed the convoy, reports arrived of minor adjustments. Small optimizations in the council's systems that humans had made while performing their duties. Resources were saved, schedules improved, redundancies eliminated. All done quietly without claim or recognition. By the time humans returned to the station, the council was in quiet chaos. Debates erupted. We underestimated them, Ylira admitted, her voice low and reluctant. They are efficient beyond our models. They obey rules only to bend outcomes in ways that favor the mission, said another alien. Their behavior is unpredictable but effective. Jard listened from his quarters. The council still thought they were in control. Still, humans remained patient. Humans did not seek revenge, nor did they gloat. They would let the council's doubts and underestimation play into their hands like a slow, precise chess game. Days turned into weeks. Humans quietly integrated into the council's work, excelling in every task. They repaired damaged trade routes, stabilized political negotiations, and completed technical assignments with efficiency that seemed impossible, all without overtly challenging the council's authority. Meanwhile, rumors began to circulate among the other species. Have you noticed? They do not fight, yet everything they touch improves, said one. They are small, fragile, and emotional, yet they perform like nothing else. The human mind, whispered another, is different. They plan silently, they act quietly. And they never reveal their limits. For Jard, the message was clear. Humanity would not demand recognition. Humanity would not shout. Humanity would act, and the galaxy would slowly come to see its error. And so, silently, humanity walked into the council's world, unnoticed, underestimated, and underestimated again. But every action, every success, every quiet correction was part of a larger plan. One day the galaxy would understand. Underestimating humans was a mistake that could not be undone. Jard stood on the observation deck once more, looking at the distant stars. They think they judge us, he said softly, but we are only beginning. Marissa joined him, her eyes reflecting distant suns, and when they realize it will be too late to stop us. The stars shimmered, endless and infinite. Humanity had entered the game, not with noise or arrogance, but with quiet intelligence and patience. And already the Council was feeling the first ripple of its mistake. The Galactic Council had expected humans to stumble. They had expected mistakes. Yet humanity continued to excel quietly, almost invisibly, like a slow-moving tide reshaping the shores without warning. Jard Mason and his human team moved through the Council's assigned tasks with calm efficiency. Every assignment, no matter how trivial, became an opportunity to demonstrate quiet competence. Their ships, sleek and functional, carried not only cargo but also human ingenuity. Their minds calculated, analyzed, and improvised where alien logic failed. It began with the resource grids. The Council had assigned humanity to monitor energy distribution across several star systems, a task considered minor and unworthy of attention. Most aliens thought it would be a simple job. Reroute power here, fix a supply chain there. But humans looked closer. They observed fluctuations that others ignored, small inefficiencies caused by outdated technology or miscalculations by alien engineers. They did not make noise about it. No one would notice unless they paid close attention. Within weeks, energy output improved across multiple systems. Aliens noticed minor changes but could not trace the source. Ships moved more efficiently. Cities functioned without delays. Starports saw fewer accidents. It was subtle, almost invisible, but undeniable. They are changing things, said Jikal, the shadow being. We cannot see how, but the systems perform better, faster, safer. They adapt without instructions, said Ylira. And they do not ask for permission. Jard's voice reached his team through the communication link. Good, that is the point. The less they notice, the more they underestimate. Every improvement, every small change builds their dependence on us without their realizing it. Humans never boasted. They did not write reports detailing their successes. They quietly documented their progress, optimized workflows, and left no trace of credit. If anything, they made mistakes seem like minor system anomalies so that the aliens would not suspect intent. The next challenge came in diplomacy. The Council was mediating disputes between two civilizations over mining rights in the Andral Belt, a dense asteroid field rich in rare minerals. Previous mediators had failed. Negotiations collapsed repeatedly. Humans were assigned as advisors, a role considered beneath them by most Council members. They were not allowed to speak in the main chambers, only to provide analysis and suggestions. But humans approached the task strategically. They studied the history of conflict between the two civilizations. They listened carefully, noting not only words but subtle cues, hesitation, phrasing, even silence. They built simulations to predict outcomes of possible proposals. When the Council formally invited them to give recommendations, humans proposed solutions that seemed simple but solved deep-rooted issues. One suggestion involved minor trade adjustments, a small energy-sharing protocol, and a scheduling system that allowed both civilizations to claim priority over mining zones without confrontation. The aliens were skeptical. "This will not work," one argued. "There is no precedent for such coordination." Humans only said calmly, "It will work if implemented consistently." The Council had no choice. They allowed it. Within weeks, the dispute ended peacefully. Trade resumed, resources increased, and tensions decreased. The Council watched, surprised and uneasy. Humans had succeeded where years of negotiation had failed. Meanwhile, humans continued to observe the Council itself. They noticed how decisions were influenced by ego, tradition, and outdated data. Where others saw authority, humans saw patterns. Where others saw complexity, humans saw opportunity. One quiet day, humans discovered a critical flaw in the Council's communication network. Information between star systems often lagged, causing confusion, errors, and delays in missions. Most aliens considered the network untouchable, claiming it was too advanced for outsiders. Humans quietly proposed optimizations. They rerouted minor connections, introduced backup channels, and improved data flow without drawing attention. Within a cycle, Council efficiency improved. Decisions were faster, reports were clearer, and resource management became seamless. "Do you see?" Marissa said to Jard, a hint of satisfaction in her tone. "They think they control the galaxy, but everything they rely on we can improve." "They do not notice," Jard replied. "That is the power of patience and subtlety. They still underestimate us." "That will not last forever," the Council began to whisper. "Humans are efficient beyond logic," said Ylira. "They perform better than anyone, but they remain quiet, passive, calculated." "They do not seek glory," added Jikal. "Yet the effects of their work ripple everywhere." Who knows what else they are capable of? Humans knew, and they were only beginning. Weeks turned into months. Humans continued small victories across multiple fields: logistics, communication, engineering, and diplomacy. Every small improvement, every subtle success, strengthened their position without threatening the Council's perception of control. But the most remarkable change came when humans began interacting with other species, fleets. Alien ships were designed for efficiency in battle, exploration, and transportation, yet often failed when conditions changed unexpectedly. Humans, however, adapted. They repaired broken engines with minimal resources, charted new star routes through previously impassable areas, and implemented tactics that combined technology with simple human logic. In one mission, a human squadron was tasked with escorting a transport fleet through a rogue meteor cluster. Alien fleets had previously lost half their ships in such missions. Humans recalculated trajectories in real time, altered flight patterns quietly, and guided the transports safely. Not a single ship was lost. Council members watched in disbelief. "How?" asked one. "How do they anticipate everything?" "They do not anticipate," said Jard's voice in the report. "They observe, they calculate, and they adapt. No more, no less." The subtlety of human success began to influence alien thought. Others started copying human methods, attempting to learn their approach. Yet no one could match humanity's patience, intuition, or adaptability. Humans had a unique combination of observation, strategy, and persistence honed over millennia of survival. Even minor acts, like tending to damaged ecosystems on newly colonized planets, drew admiration. While aliens saw only tasks, humans saw connections, life, balance, and efficiency combined. They restored environments with minimal intervention, planting native flora, redirecting water systems, and stabilizing climates without heavy machinery. By the time others noticed, the results were undeniable. Council members could no longer ignore humans. Rumors spread and fear mingled with respect. "They are small, fragile, emotional," said one. "Yet every system they touch improves, every mission succeeds." "How can one species accomplish so much?" Jard smiled privately. That was exactly the effect he had hoped for. Humans were not loud, they did not demand attention. They simply proved through quiet action that intelligence, patience, and adaptability were more powerful than arrogance and force. Humans did not stop. They began to experiment with social systems, offering suggestions to improve communication between species, proposing more efficient trading schedules, and quietly stabilizing political conflicts. They remained invisible architects behind the council's functioning. But not everyone admired them. A few members grew suspicious. "They are too quiet," Ylira warned. "Too careful, we cannot see their limits. What if they act against us someday?" Humans expected that. It was part of the plan. Their goal was never to dominate by force, but to prove that humanity's unique approach could surpass expectations. They would teach the galaxy a lesson in humility, not through violence, but through undeniable skill and intelligence. By the end of the cycle, the Council began to fear that their underestimation of humanity had been a serious mistake. Every system humans touched improved. Every mission humans handled succeeded. Every negotiation humans advised concluded peacefully. Yet the humans remained silent. They did not boast. They did not gloat. They acted as if all these successes were ordinary, and the Council began to realize something unsettling. Humanity was not just clever. Humanity was patient. Humanity understood strategy and observation in ways no other species did. The more they underestimated humans, the more humans proved them wrong, without effort or confrontation. Jard looked out over the observation deck at the glowing stars. "They think they control everything," he said softly. "They do not see the quiet revolution we are leading. One day they will understand, and by then it will be too late to change anything." Marissa stood beside him. "The galaxy is learning our lesson one step at a time." "They just do not know it yet," Jard nodded. "We do not need them to know, we need them to observe. Their disbelief is our advantage, and patience is the most powerful weapon." The stars stretched endlessly. Humanity moved quietly, subtly, and steadily through the galaxy, unseen but undeniable. Their revolution was not loud, not violent, not boastful. It was quiet, thoughtful, and unstoppable. And every ripple of their influence left the Council realizing more and more that underestimating humans had been a grave mistake. And humanity only smiled silently, knowing the game had just begun. The Galactic Council had changed. Not because of force, not because of war, but because of humanity. Quiet, clever, patient humans had transformed every system they touched. They had solved problems other civilizations had failed to fix. They had improved trade routes, optimized energy systems, and mediated disputes without overt authority. And yet, humans remained calm, almost invisible, like a gentle wind reshaping the landscape. Jard Mason walked through the corridors of the council station, observing alien delegates. Some watched humans with newfound respect, some watched with quiet fear. Still, no one fully understood what humans were capable of. That was exactly how Jard wanted it. Marissa Lane approached him, carrying the latest reports. "The council is becoming dependent on us," she said quietly. "They don't even realize it. Every system we touch runs better than before, and they can't trace why." Jard nodded. "They still think they control the galaxy. They still think they can limit us with their rules and probation. Soon, they will realize that it was their underestimation that trapped them." It began with a simple announcement. Humanity would no longer participate in routine council operations. No public reason was given. Humans simply informed the council that they would withdraw, taking their fleets and resources to pursue independent exploration and projects beyond council oversight. The reaction was immediate: shock, confusion, disbelief. Representatives from countless civilizations crowded the chamber. "What? Withdraw? You cannot leave." Lithar's crystalline form shimmered angrily. You are needed. You improve everything. Jard's voice was calm, measured. We appreciate the opportunity to work with the Council. But humanity values freedom. We will continue our exploration, development, and research independently. Our contributions do not require oversight or supervision. Jikal, the shadow being, seemed almost to tremble. You cannot just walk away. Without humans, systems will collapse, trade routes will fail, political disputes will flare. Perhaps, Jard said softly, but we have already set things in motion. Your systems can continue if you apply what we have demonstrated. If you fail, that is your choice. For the first time, the Council realized the full impact of humanity's work. Every sector, every route, every system that humans had touched operated smoothly, almost automatically. Humans had left behind not just improvements, but lessons embedded in the design of every process. Aliens whispered among themselves. They were not reckless, Ylira said. They were not naive, they were deliberate, calculated, and every action was part of a plan we did not see. They taught us without telling us, added another delegate. They improved our systems, solved our problems, stabilized conflicts, and we thought we were in control. Jard and Marissa prepared the human fleet for departure. Ships gleamed, not with extravagance but with efficiency. Every vessel was designed for long-range exploration and survival, equipped with innovations humans had perfected quietly over decades. As the fleet prepared to leave, some council members tried to negotiate, offering incentives, positions, or privileges. Humans politely declined. No argument, no anger, no retaliation, just calm refusal. They do not even need to fight, Marissa observed. Everything they touch works better and now they leave without struggle. It's brilliant. Jard looked toward the stars. They will remember us, but not because we forced them to, because they will realize they misjudged us. That realization will last longer than any victory. When the human fleet departed, the Council watched in stunned silence. Ships moved gracefully into uncharted space, engines glowing faintly against the black void. No trumpets, no announcements, no ceremonies. Humanity walked away silently, leaving only the results of their actions behind. In the following cycles, the impact of humans' departure became more apparent. Systems that had relied on human ingenuity continued to function, but minor errors slowly emerged when aliens tried to replicate human methods. Where humans had used intuition and patience, aliens attempted direct replication, often failing. Rumors spread across the galaxy. Humans were explorers, diplomats, engineers, and strategists beyond comprehension. They could solve problems quietly, adapt to any environment, and operate without oversight or direction. Some species began to fear them. Others began to admire them. The Council convened an emergency meeting. Every delegate was present, even those who had previously dismissed humans. Lithar addressed the assembly. We made a grave mistake. We underestimated humans. Every system they touched improved. Every conflict they mediated succeeded. Every mission they undertook succeeded beyond our calculations. And now they are gone. Ylira added, her voice trembling slightly. Their departure will leave a gap we cannot fill. The galaxy is stronger because of them, and we never saw it coming. The realization settled like a heavy fog. The Council had not just underestimated humans, they had dismissed them. They had treated them as minor players, capable of minor disruptions at most. And yet, in their silence and patience, humans had reshaped the galaxy in ways that no one else could. Back aboard the lead human ship, Jard addressed the fleet. We leave not to escape, but to explore. We leave not to conquer, but to create. We leave not to boast, but to live as humans have always done, with intelligence, patience, and resilience. Marissa smiled. They will remember us. One day they will tell their children about the species they underestimated, and that story will be ours. The human fleet moved beyond the Council's reach, through unexplored star systems. Planets with untapped resources, uncharted civilizations, and mysteries beyond imagination awaited. Humanity had the freedom to innovate, explore, and grow without interference. Meanwhile, in the Council chamber, debate continued. How could we have missed it? Jikal asked, genuinely fearful. Their patience, their foresight, we never saw it. They teach by doing, not by telling, Ylira said quietly. Every improvement we observed was a lesson we didn't know we were learning, and now they are gone, taking their knowledge and skill with them. The other delegates nodded, slowly understanding. Humans had demonstrated an extraordinary combination of intelligence, adaptability, and moral clarity. They had not dominated, coerced, or destroyed. They had succeeded by being human. Jard and his fleet discovered new worlds. They formed alliances, established colonies, and explored phenomena that had only been theorized before. Humans adapted to alien environments with ingenuity, often using simple tools or natural resources rather than complex technology. Every challenge became a chance to demonstrate intelligence, creativity, and perseverance. Humans did not seek recognition from the Council or other civilizations. They acted quietly, letting results speak for themselves. Other species began to respect them, often in awe, sometimes in fear. Humanity's reputation grew, not through conquest, but through undeniable skill, strategy, and subtle influence. Decades passed, and the stories of humans' early interactions with the Council became legends. Tales circulated across star systems of the species that had entered the galaxy quietly, solved problems no one else could, and then left without fanfare, leaving the Council to realize the depth of its mistake. Even generations later, aliens still spoke of humans with a mix of respect and humility. They walk silently, one would say, but every step changes the galaxy. Jard looked out at the stars from the bridge of the lead ship. "We have done what we came to do," he said softly. "Not for power, not for glory, for understanding, for exploration, for being human." Marissa stood beside him, her eyes reflecting distant suns. "They will remember, and someday they will understand." Humanity continued forward, silently shaping the galaxy not by force, but by intelligence, patience, and quiet excellence. Their story became a lesson for all civilizations. Never underestimate humans. And the galaxy, vast and infinite, waited to see what humanity would do next.